Hey y'all. I just wanted to hype up the episode a little bit before y'all get into it. I started working on that episode or this episode at 10 o'clock, and I had almost no breaks outside of eating. Right? It's 6:22, so I've been working on this freaking episode for 8.5 hours. So in, lock in. It is actually so peak. The lore is so peak. Ignore my face. I need to get rid of acne, but it is so peak. Just trust me. So like, comment, subscribe, and tell your mom you love her, and let's get into it. Hello and welcome to probably the biggest episode of Total Drama Multiverse yet. This episode, I just obviously started recording, right? And it is 2:19. This is not coming out on time. I started working on this at 10 o'clock this morning. I haven't eaten lunch. There's so much lore we gotta get through today. It is actually peak. So what y'all are seeing right now is basically everyone that isn't in this. If I scrolled up right now, it would show everything that obviously I'm not going to show you yet. Y'all are only going to see little bits and pieces that are necessary at the times, kind of like episode 29 of last season. But everyone that's on screen right now is not in this. I just wanted to talk about three things before we get into our lore. So one, you'll see this in a minute, is I changed William Afton's, aka Springtrap. I changed his little, what are they called? They're icons, right? So like this is Lena's icon, this is Patrice's icon. I changed their icons so that it reflects them a bit more. I've changed him first, and his is, instead of being Spring Bonnie, it's Springtrap. I also, since there's no movie Springtrap, I changed it to being the video game version of Springtrap. So you'll see that. And the other one I changed is for Jonesy. There's two reasons. One, I don't like how far away he is in the original image, because pretty much everyone here, outside of like Fritz is kind of a bad picture, is like maybe chest up is how I like to do it. And for him, you can like barely see his legs. So I changed his, and also it's really close so that you can't see his arm, because obviously his arm got ripped off, and it'll get replaced in this episode. And the last thing I want to talk about is a quick retcon. I am retconning the last like 30-second clip from last episode, basically the one where everything from where Lauren and all of them get rifted into that secret bunker. That does not happen because I've changed that whole part of this episode to be a lot better. But this is going to be a big one, so strap in, get some snacks, and yeah, there's a lot to get. Alright, so we begin our story with Malik. Malik was sick of waiting for Puss to get the courage to kill Chris, so he offered Daisy a new deal without Puss knowing. In exchange for Puss's final life, because he's a cat, he has 9 lives, she would be granted 15 years of being the most popular, most liked, most powerful princess from across the multiverse. Daisy loved the sound of that, but didn't know if she was ready to kill. On one hand, she would lose her humanity, but on the other hand, she would have everything she could ever wanted. No, deserved. I'll think about it, she said. Good to hear, Malik grinned. So, yeah, if Daisy couldn't get worse already. Then there's Dr. Zomboss and the zombie horde. So Zomboss had carefully planned their takeover. First, they would break in and take over the main control room. Then, they would split up and kill anyone they could find. They would also release any prisoners just to add to the chaos. Dr. Zomboss, with the help of Sen, would then hack into the Zero Point and use its power to raid New Wawanakwa. From there, he would kill Chris and begin his journey to conquer the multiverse. And yeah, he'll turn everyone into zombies, except for the people like on his team. He won't turn Sin he kind of turns him into a zombie, I guess, but he wouldn't turn Sin or Springtrap or Venom or Vader or Bowser the Collector into a zombie. All the main team members, though, would just be raiding the Zero Point control room with Zomboss, because we have people like William here. And William's job was to make sure Daisy got controlled by the Mex's virus. While the rest of the villains broke into Reality Zero, he was sent to New Wawanakwa. He searched around until he found who he was looking for. In the dead of night, right when Daisy was about to go to the restroom, he jumped out of the shadows and tackled her, putting his hand over her mouth so she wouldn't scream. He grabbed the Vanny mask and forced it onto her before taking her deep into the woods. She was tied to a tree and forced to watch as Mexes got closer and closer before reaching out a hand and grabbing her in the AR world. She let out a blood-curdling scream before slumping over completely unconscious. So, didn't go entirely according to plan, though, because Mexes. The Mexes virus wasn't entirely its own entity. It was programmed to somewhat mimic its host. Daisy's body suddenly gasped to life. "Hello, Mexes. It's been so long," William explained. "Mr. Afton," it asked through Daisy. That's why Daisy's still up here, and I didn't add like a Mexes one because Daisy is, or Mexes is inside Daisy. Or the Mexes like entity is inside Daisy using the brain chip that was implanted by the Vanny mask. So, yeah. Mr. Afton, it asked through Daisy. "Yep, it's me. Now let me untie you. There is much to be done, and I think Zomboss will be ready for us soon." "But didn't you die?" Mexes asked. "Well, yeah, but I always come back." Get it? That's not true. "You left me trapped in this mask for like 50 years. Mimicking Daisy's temper, Mexes began to get angry. I hate you," Mexes yelled as it ran into the woods. "Shit. Well, I'll have to reprogram that then," William sighed. Suddenly a rift opened behind William, and Zomboss's arm reached out. "Well, that'll have to wait," he said as he grabbed the arm. So, yeah, Mexes is now kind of like possessing Daisy. Daisy's still alive, but kind of like if y'all have ever watched Amphibia, it's kind of like what the core does to Marcy. I don't think most of y'all are going to understand what I just said, especially if you didn't understand the Mexes part. So, yeah. Yeah. Right, so then we have a pretty dark one. Okay, so this one is Puss in Boots. Mexes had inherited most of Daisy's memories. It used its newfound knowledge to find a hidden cave with Malik and Puss. By the way, it does not actually think it's Daisy, but it knows like everything Daisy knows. "So, Daisy, what brings you out here so late? You ready to take my deal?" Malik, obviously, is the one saying this. And Mexes searched through Daisy's memories to see what Malik was talking about. "Actually, yes, I will take your deal." Mexes still had some of its more murderous traits left over from the last person it mimicked, that being William. "Good to hear. Puss is asleep over on the other side of the cave. Kill him, and I will grant you the life you deserve." Mexes walked over to Puss and began to strangle him. He woke up and tried to fight back, but it was too late. With one last breath, he saw a purple glisten in Daisy's eye. And Puss is dead. Just downright dead. He's gone. Okay? I know some people were like, "Oh, I hope he comes back," because people wanted him to come further, but maybe you'll have some luck with some other character. Sorry, he's dead. Alright, pivoting over to our Fortnite crew and also Grim Foxy, we have Jones. "Get to the bunker," Jones yelled, firing his AR at a horde of zombies. But what about you?" Sky replied. "That doesn't matter. You need to protect your mother." "I will." Suddenly, Venom jumped in front of Jones and ripped his arm off. Just clean off. That's how he lost his arm. "Dad!" Sky screamed as she tried to run towards him before being grabbed by Peely, Hope, and Grim. They obviously don't want her to run in on a suicide mission, even though she is that powerful. Hope still is like trying to protect her baby because she underestimates Sky. Peely's gonna do what Hope does because they're friends, and Grim doesn't obviously know anything about Sky, so they all underestimate her, and they hold her back. "There's no time," Grim started. "We need to move." "But Dad," Sky cried. "Your father is a tough man. He won't give up just because of one arm," Hope said as they began to run down the hall. Venom walked over to Jones, laughing hysterically. There we go. You're supposed to be a guardian of the multiverse? How could you be so weak? He lifted his foot up to crush Jones's skull before Jones pulled out his rift gun and rifted away. Ha! What a wuss. So, yeah. Remember whenever I was talking about how there's so many characters I have to juggle in this story? Well, I guess I didn't learn anything because you're about to get introduced to the first of technically two, kind of three, of the new characters that are being introduced in this episode. And that is going to be Dr. Sloan. The reality hopping part of his rift gun was broken, so Jones teleported as far away from the main control room as he could while still staying in the area. While still staying like in the underground base, like the full base. So, he collapsed in the cell of his old business partner, Dr. Sloan. "Oh my, what do we have here?" she asked. "Please help me." Sloan scoffed and walked over to him. "Why should I help the person who's had me locked up for years, not to mention almost killing me? I'll let you free, I promise. Please, my wife and daughter are in danger," Jones pleaded. "Well, that is tempting. Here, give me the rift gun and I'll bring you something back." Jones handed her the gun and she rifted away. "She's not coming back, is she?" Joe said aloud as his mind started to fade. Suddenly, Sloan rifted back. With a bionic arm, she ripped off another prisoner named Bucky Barnes. If you know, you know. She stuck it onto Jones, and he shook her hand with it. "Truce?" Sloan asked. "Truce." So, yeah, there's a lot of history between these two. They're not very fond of each other, but if you don't know Fortnite lore, that's pretty much all you need to know. Sloan used to be, I said business partner, but really Sloan was Jones's boss. They really don't like each other, but they're choosing. Right, so then the heroes. Lauren, Chris, Jinwoo, and Chef watched as Venom ripped Jones's arm off and then Jones ripped it away. "We need to follow the others," Chef ordered. The four of them ran until they caught up with the others, who were busy fighting hordes of zombies, as well as Bowser and Darth Vader. Actually, let me move these guys up here. That way y'all can see it better. Bowser and Darth Vader. So, after a bit of fighting, Jinwoo told him to continue and that he could take them. "Are you sure?" Lauren asked. "Absolutely," Jinwoo said before running up to a Gargantuar zombie, which is basically like the Hulk if it was a zombie, and kicking its head off. "Okay then, let's move, team." They made their way to the bunker and began planning their next move. So all that leaves is just Jinwoo, obviously Bowser and Vader, and then the zombies. So then we have Jinwoo. So Jinwoo killed most of the zombies super easily. So easily that Vader and Bowser actually ran away in fear. Can you imagine how insanely powerful you would have to be to make Darth Vader, of all people, run away in fear? He's kind of broken. After winning the battle, he was given a huge amount of XP, because remember, his life is like an RPG, and the ability to summon foes he had defeated. After adding many of the dead zombies to his team, including that Gargantuar, he looked behind him to see a terrifying monster in the distance. Sin. Then there was the Collector. So Sin rushed Jinwoo before he had the chance to react. Jinwoo braced for impact, but didn't feel anything. He slowly looked up to see the Collector pushing her back. "What are you doing?" Sin screeched. "I thought you guys would be fun to play games with, but y'all are just a bunch of meanies. Y'all are worse than Bellows." The Collector pushed as hard as he could, sending her through a rift that Jones and Sloan had planted. She landed in one of the strongest cells in the facility. By the way, Jones and Sloan found the Collector and were able to convince the Collector to get onto their side. That's just not something that I think really needed its whole own slide, but yeah. So they teamed up. So then we have, okay, can someone tell me what the hell is going on? That's Jinwoo. "Once we get to the others, yes," Jones started. "Do you know where they are? They should be in the bunker by now." "Alright, then let's head there." Sloan, Jones, the Collector, and Jinwoo made their way to the bunker to meet up with the others. Oh, now we have like our Avengers over here. We have 11 people that are all our good guys for at least the episode. So yeah, this is Peely. So the 11 of them sat in the bunker debating what to do. Eventually, Peely came up with the plan. He told them to split into 4 different like sets of people, not really groups because some of them have less, some of them have more, but yeah, and gave them each roles. So first we have the fighters. The fighters are Chef, Jinwoo, Lauren. Where's Lauren? Where the hell is Lauren? Okay. Grim and Sloan. These 5's goal are purely to take on zombies and any smaller threats. So people like Afton, for example, who Afton's a big threat, but can Afton take on all 5 of these people at once? Hell no. He can't take on Jinwoo. So Jinwoo's actually the biggest part of the fighters here. So yeah, these people are just here to be insane attackers, add chaos, but not as much as our next 2, which are the distractions, Chris and the Collector. So Chris and the Collector both have similar jobs, but they're a little different. Chris needs to get the attention of Zomboss. Zomboss is still Dr. Edgar from last season, the head scientist, and still hates Chris, and is still mainly doing all this to go for Chris. So if he can distract him, then that'll take Zomboss's attention away from the actual 0 point. And the Collector is a distraction because the Collector is not only insanely chaotic and random, and who knows what the hell he'll do, but also every other villain is pissed at him for betraying them, literally within like a day and a half of being with them, because he was the last person they picked up. So yeah, then we have the 0 point trio, which is Peely, Hope, and Jones. And for these 3, their goal is just to get to the 0 point and to get into it and to overload the system for the trump card, which is Sky. If Sky can get in the system and get in the overloaded system and get zapped by it due to her powers, which I promise we'll eventually go into how those work, but due to her powers, that will overload her, and she will become extremely powerful, easily being able to defeat like anyone there, even Sin. But Sin is not actually in this fight. Sin is in the maximum security prison. So the only people they're going to be going against are the zombies, Zomboss, William Afton, Venom, Bowser, and Vader. So yeah, that's the only people they're going for. You know, it's crazy to me how even though this has easily been the longest episode for me to make, it is 3:06, guys. It has been easily the longest episode for me to make. This probably won't even premiere till like 6. I probably will finish editing it around like 5. So actually, I have to do math. So I'll probably do math after I finish the recording. So it might not even come out till later. But this episode's actually only going to be like 25, probably like 20 minutes long in total. So yeah, let's get to our kind of final battle for this episode. There's definitely a lot more after that though. So yeah, still be excited. So we have Sky. The teams rushed out of the bunker and into the control room. Chef, Lauren, Grim, and Sloan begin fighting the zombies, while Jinwoo summoned the Gargantuar to fight some of the bigger threats. So that's pretty much they're handling these 2, and also him. Meanwhile, the Collector throws confetti and those crazy weird stars everywhere that start turning the zombies into puppets and stuff. He starts going crazy, trying to make as big a distraction as possible. So he mainly deals with, I forgot, actually, I meant to move Springtrap up there. Vader is the more powerful of those 4, and I think Collector is the one mainly dealing with him. He's breaking his focus over the Force, something like that. So, the 0 point team, which is, obviously you can see, it's Peely, Hope, and Jones. The 0 point team is able to throw Zomboss off. They're able to get to where Zomboss is, and they throw Zomboss off the big controller. And after they do that, Chris ran over to him. He says, ready for a rematch? And Zomboss responds, hell yeah. So they start fighting, which completely distracts Zomboss. So at this point, everyone's distracted, and it's just pure chaos in the room. So while they fought, Peely, Hope, and Jones overloaded the stabilizers or systems. There we go. And Sky jumped into the blast. The infinite energy of the 0 point was coursing through Sky's veins, making her eyes glow bluish white, and she has like a whole aura of bluish white. And she's kind of about to be like Gear 5 Luffy, if you know what I'm talking about. So she starts laughing hysterically, and she's like, I feel so alive, Sky laughed. She continues to laugh hysterically as she begins rifting all over the place, slashing villains with their swords and leaving only rifts in their place. So she takes out Bowser, she takes out Venom, she takes out Afton, she takes out Vader, and she doesn't take out freaking Zomboss, but she's just going everywhere. Half the time she's not even rifting towards people, she's just rifting everywhere because she's like going insane. So to get all that excess 0 point energy out, which by the way, she used like maybe 10% of her power just then. She didn't even kill them. She's just trying to get rid of them. Or else she definitely could have. She doesn't want to kill people. Especially like she won't kill anybody. Yeah, so to get all that excess energy out though, she gathers up all of the zombies, all of them, and she rifts over 100,000 light years away. These are zombies, so they don't count. And explodes them. So like she explodes all the energy out of her to let out the rest of the energy. The blast is more powerful than 10 black holes combined. Okay? When I say we have a powerful character, we have a really, really, really powerful character we're talking about. Okay, so now we have a really interesting one that's definitely going to affect our next few, because this is newbies. After rifting back, Sky rifting back, they threw Zomboss in a max security cell, and they all celebrated their win. Jones, Hope, and Peely decided to let Sloane out of her max security cell, but she had to have a tracking chip implanted in her arm at all times. So, yeah, that's pretty much the end for them. So I'll just do this. That way, y'all can actually see all the characters. And also, I need to do this because we can do this now. So, Lauren, Chris, Chef, Sky, and Jen Wu were about to head back when Grimm asked where him and the Collector would go. Neither of them really wanted to go back to the realities. Collector for a multitude of different reasons, and Grimm's reality is really boring. So, you know what? Why not? Chris said. He looked over at Lauren and Chef, who gave a nod before continuing. How about y'all join my game show? I've been needing more guys in there anyway. Yeah, a new game. How do you play? The Collector cheered. The Collector's really into games, like really into playing games. That's like the Collector's whole thing. So, Chris says, I will explain when we get back. What about you, Grimm? Well, we need to deal with the mask anyway. Okay, so this is Daisy's slide. After making it back to the island to get some sleep, Grimm and Sky found Daisy and began to question her. So, these two were the ones that teamed up. One, because Grimm knows everything about the veiny mask, and two, because if anything goes wrong, Sky is more than powerful enough to do anything about it. She still has some leftover 0 point energy going through her veins. Well, she always has 0 point energy going through her veins, but like extra energy going through her veins. So, yeah. So they question her, or what they think is her, and Mexes, who's in Daisy, obviously denied everything, but was caught pretty quickly. It ran into the woods and found the cave where Puss and Malik were staying, and both were gone. So, yeah, it was confused about that. Grimm and Sky cornered it in the cave before Sky noticed the hidden 1-up mushrooms in the cave. What do we do, Sky? We can't just kill Daisy, Grimm said. And like I just said, Sky has a no-kill rule, but since she sees the 1-up mushrooms there, she goes, actually, we can. So Sky lunged at Mex's, or Daisy's body, with her still rift-charged fist, and exploded Daisy's head like a freaking balloon. What the hell, Sky? Grim yelled. Calm down, dude. Watch this. She walked over to the one-up mushrooms and gave one to Daisy for reviving her. She then searched the cave until she found the veining mask and the brain chip that was in Daisy's head, but now obviously isn't, and handed them both to Grim and left. She was carrying out all the one-up mushrooms to go give them to Chris. She said, "Can you take these to the trash pile, please?" And Grim's like, okay. So they both leave to give that, or to take that stuff out of the cave. And then Daisy woke up a few minutes later. Ugh, what happened? It's just Daisy right now. So she's like, ugh, what the hell happened? She looks over to where Puss would usually sleep to see the words "thank you" spelled in blood. What? Hey, so I'm back down here because I completely forgot to record an outro. So yeah, we're just back with everyone who's not in this episode. I hope y'all enjoyed this one. I really did. It looks like it is actually going to be closer to 25-30 minutes, thankfully. Especially because there is still stuff we got to do after the outro, as always. So, like freaking post-credit scenes. So, yeah, I do really hope y'all enjoyed. I think the lore episodes do well. They're some of my favorite episodes to make, especially the ones that take a really long time like this, because I feel like I'm putting a lot of effort into these episodes. Not that I feel like I'm not for the other ones, but yeah. If y'all enjoyed the plot, comment below. If y'all didn't enjoy the plot, comment below. Next episode is already taken by a challenge suggestion, and the episode after that's going to be a Lauren episode. But after that, I can take some more challenge suggestions if you want. And one last thing, tell me what boy and what girl you're rooting for now that Grim and the Collector have joined in. So there's more than like 5 boys to choose from. 4 boys, actually. Oh my gosh. Unless, no, I think only Sky and Daisy are the ones that aren't here right now. Wow. There's like no boys left. Or was no boys left. But I'm yapping. I hope y'all enjoyed, and I cannot wait to catch y'all in the next one. Remember when I said that there was going to be 2.5 new characters? Well, what I was talking about is this is the half character we're about to introduce. You already saw Sloan, you're going to see another one in a minute, but this is our half new character. So, we have this slide. Grim threw the chip and mask into the trash dump and left to go meet his new teammates. That night, the Mexes crawled out of the chip and looked and into a metal arm-looking object. Throughout the night, it slowly built itself out of trash until it had its own body. It didn't think the name Mexes suited its new identity anymore. So it settled on the Mimic. Guys, guess what? I can't count. So I thought there was 2.5 characters getting introduced. There's actually 3.5. I really need to stop. There is 60 images on this tier list. There's 60 characters in this show. Of course, that's including Season 1 stuff. But I really might have a problem with how many characters I'm putting in this. I plan on doing 5 seasons. And in Season 5, I plan on bringing every single character back. Not all of them as contestants, of course. That'd be insane. But at least every character will show up in some form in Season 5. If I keep doing this, it's gonna be an insanely long season, which honestly, I think I would love that. So maybe that is a good idea. But let's talk about Zombie Wanda. So, in the chaos, a lot of prisoners were infected by the zombies. One of these was the witch Wanda Maximoff. However, she was able to use her magic to make herself appear normal, just like in the show Marvel Zombies. She watched everything play out through her max security cell and decided on one thing. She needed to join the villains. That way, she can escape and get some flesh to feast on. Not from the villains, but the villains would give her the flesh to feast on. Coincidentally, very coincidentally, Zomboss just so happened to be placed in this cell right to her left. And Sin was teleported into this cell on her right. So let the scheming commence over. I did not think we were going to make it this far, bro. We're finally on the actual last slide of the video. This is death. We've gotten this far, guys. We're on death now. Alright, so where am I? Puss asked as he awoke in pitch black. Ah, finally, the legendary Puss in Boots. Who's there? Show yourself. Puss reached for his sword to find that he was actually completely naked. He's a cat, so it's fine. I'm not surprised you don't recognize me, but we've actually met 8 other times before this. What are you talking about? Puss asked. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Death, and I don't mean it metaphorically or rhetorically or theoretically or poetically or any kind of fancy way. I'm Death, straight up. I didn't write that on the thing because I don't know how to spell like half those words, but he does that whole thing from the movie. So hello, Death. And I have been waiting for this moment for a long time. Out of nowhere, a huge red eyeball appeared, and like the whole place shifts red, and it began to speak. Sorry, Death, but this soul is mine, Puss gasped. Malik. Alright.